Raphaele Leyendecker is a sustainability entrepreneur, startup board member, and early-stage investor in over than 50 startups in the field of energy, circular economy, and sustainable consumption. At the moment, Raphaele is the managing director of Techstars Sustainability Paris Accelerator. Her expertise lays in strategic innovation and venture building as she worked with more than 50 corporations, including Schneider Electric, L'Oreal, and Nespresso.
Hi, topic of today's podcast is how women's leadership could drive circular economy. And our guest is Raphaele. She's a managing director of Techstars Sustainability in Paris. Raphaele has a master's degree in sustainability and is an active investor. Hi, Raphaele. Thank you very much for being here, especially in your condition, and congrats. I know that you're on a maternity leave, so thank you for taking your time and talking in this episode of our podcast.
Thank you so much, Julia. Always a pleasure to have you in Paris. Actually, I think it's the first time we're seeing each other again since you finished the Techstars Sustainability Paris program.
Exactly. But we are changed now, which is a great event, I would say.
Really nice for you to be here.
Yep. I will jump right into it. And I know that in Techstars Sustainability Paris, you already invested into 60 startups. And out of those 60 startups, 40% are female founders, which is an amazing number. And as you know, in the industry, the numbers are much lower normally. So, of course, my first question, what measures or how did you actually do that? How did you make female founders apply to Techstars Sustainability Paris and then have such a high number of them?
To be honest, it's a real goal that we set when we started Techstars Sustainability in Paris back in 2021. Indeed, we go at such a fast pace that we need to stick to what we believe in. And I believe that sustainability does not only rhymes with technology and that investing in a solution that can have an impact on climate does not stop here. We need to invest in people that will embed ESG, invest in women that can have actually a different vision of the society because they have a different way to express themselves than men would. And 40% is a good number. I don't think it's such an impressive number. We don't have yet included equity in our or parity in our target goal. But let's say that we were starting with 33%, a third of our investment, and that reaching 30% is pretty good. How do we get there? As we were discussing, I keep on hearing that women founders get less funding than traditional founder. But the reality is the top of the funnel, when we source company, we don't get 50% men, 50% women when talking about founding team. So this is where we carefully look at the women and try to give them extra chances to actually get to the next interview. We actually have 3 stages of interviews. To make sure we fully understand the solution, the market, the kind of traction the founders are getting. All this before actually being selected to the screening committee, where we have basically the top 25. Mm-hmm. To give you some rough number, we had more than 1,000 applications for the last program, which started 2 weeks ago now. I was not there, sorry. We had a high number in volume of women because we have a high volume of application, but still much lesser than the one with men-led ventures. So I think making sure that we're giving them space to shine is important. So this is at the entry level, and this is where also working with schools, working with other women founders just like you to inspire a next generation of founders that they can do it is really important. But also when we're in program, we try to, again, respect this kind of parity mindset to make sure that the founders are surrounded by, a diverse world, which means diverse mentors, diverse investors. We have a lot of women investors joining our panels. We invite them also to our investor event, and they're really well represented. Mentor is the same. I think the kind of sensibility women have can lead to a different kind of society we want to be. And indeed, to have the kind of change we want to to make in the world to prepare for a better future. We don't have that much time left. We need to change the recipe, to reinvent the rule, and we need to give a bigger voice to women. So this is what we're trying to do at our small level.
That sounds amazing, and I will get back to the point that you made, that at the top of the funnel you have less women actually. So maybe it's not because it's not the investment coming to the women; it's because it's less of them. So why do you think that happening? Why there are less women in this whole process in the industry and so on? Like why they are not there at the forefront?
Yeah. Well, I get the traditional women are more shy and they are not as pushy as men, and they fear they won't be able to make it and stuff. Can be true, and indeed I see that basically we have two kind of profiles when talking about women entrepreneurs. Some that are indeed just passionate about what they're doing, and they're just such amazing performers that it's so obvious that they're gonna get there. And they're the other one trying to mimic kind of the men, being also as pushy and more aggressive than they would act in the normal world limits. And so, well, this is also something we have to face, promoting more sisterhood and empathy rather than trying to push women to mimic men in a men's world, basically. But to be honest, I don't think that's the whole picture. That's only the tip of the iceberg why we don't have more women. For those who see me here on the video, you see I'm pregnant.
We would have some guests.
It's my third child, and I've been an entrepreneur for a long period in my life, and I was lucky enough to shift to the investor side when I got my kids, to be employed, to be supported, while I needed to stop, because even if we want to pretend that we are equal, just by nature, we need to bear maternity. And the fact that, well, you can definitely decide not to have kids, and that's fine. But if you do, well, your metabolism is changing. Your brain is slowing down. Your body is expanding. And also, well, why would you have kids if it's not to raise them? So your whole agenda shifts also. And your priorities doesn't mean that you're not focused on your work anymore, that you're not performant anymore. But indeed, even if my husband, for instance, is an amazing father and really involved with our kids, poor of him, he will never get this extra 15 kilos and have to, lose them again and breastfeed, which is something that you have to deal with. And I think that as simple as it sounds, this is a big difference, meaning that we're lucky here to be in France, where the government is supporting women. I'm lucky to be working for Techstars, which is also a great company supporting women investors, and we can talk about that topic. But all founders don't get that. Even in France, actually, founders don't get the support from the state, as most of them are independent. So, well, first on the financial level, how can you survive if you're having kids and that you have to sustain your family without getting a portion of your salary when you need to stop? It's not that you're willing to stop, it's that you need to stop. And on the second hand, well, when you're having your company, it's your company, it's kind of already your baby. So you're 100% on it. When you need to stop from maternity leave, you need to make sure that you have a strong team to have your back, to be able to stop or to slow down. I have great example of women. Typically, there is this company in France called Les Couronnes de Victoire. And the founder, she's a solo woman founder. She's amazing. She got her first child when she was already managing a team of like 30 plus people. And the company was booming, like all the NVB on the internet. And well, she just reorganized all her agenda to make sure that, she would stop and have the baby within like 5 days and then be able to come back. Indeed, be more flexible at work, but still never really disappear. And I think it shows such a determination and the ability to reorganize your whole work environment. But, well, it's also a time that you need to reorganize, and it's a lot to take for a whole family.
Exactly.
But also some other example of women that are just hesitating to actually go to the entrepreneurship side because they are afraid that they can't build the two at once. And well, that's a key reality for now. I think as long as the system won't be ready and supporting also independent, liberal people like founders who do not have employment contracts, and a bit tricky.
Yep.
And well, second, as long as the team, the startup won't be solid enough, especially for solo founders, can be difficult. So that might be a tip here for women willing to build their own companies. Having a strong team is really, really a determinant. Doesn't mean that you absolutely need to be several co-founders, and that you need to be several, one woman, one man, or one woman, two men. Doesn't matter much, because anyway, you don't have the same agenda when it comes to your personal life. And also promoting men founders to take this time off, could bring back some equilibrium in society. Because obviously, when you're building a startup, it's really important to go fast. This is what we're talking about, startup. If you never show a faster growth, well, you might die before things even begin. But when you're managing your family, you're saying that, well, you need to be really sharp and focused to make things happen really fast. So I think that's a real teaching, and universal teaching for everyone.
So back to your point about a female founder who took a maternity leave, just 5 days. Actually have another example of the founder who was also a female solo founder. And she found out that she's pregnant, and she forced herself to delegate everything to her team to make sure that she has this time to spend with the kid that she's giving birth to, as you said, to raise the kid actually. And she said it was such a great learning experience for her, not to do everything by herself, but build the team, delegate them the tasks, and actually teach them to collaborate with each other, not with her. And she said that at the end it was a great success, and now everyone is more independent after her maternity leave and getting better. So, there might be different examples of actually maternity leave giving a push to the founder in that regard. And you also mentioned that it is important to start with the schools. So what change would you like to see in the school system, in education? So, maybe there are more female founders, female entrepreneurs, or, that women are more there to pursue their dreams, what they want to do.
I feel like I love your example, by the way, of how building a team that is solid can have your back. This is determinant. To me, I still believe that I see too much women-led projects that are related to women stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where, second-hand marketplace online, women-funded. Kids' clothes, menstrual stuff, psychology related. This is great. This is fine. I just mean that it's not only for women first. And also, I guess that's also, if we want to reshuffle the cards in the society, we need to address all the topics. And it's not because you're a woman that you would be excluded from the automotive industry or the steel industry, the mining industry. Well, we're covering a lot of topics with sustainability in Techstars Paris. But I think, well, the same with, engineering school, they struggle to have enough women applicants. So I guess here the ground is the same. We need to promote more women to tasks that they would not foresee themselves doing. And actually, I love the circular economy topic because it's such a great example where sustainability meets with chemistry or industrial topic, which is a really manly atmosphere. But I have great examples such as you, Julia, with S.Lab, but also with Outlander Materials, led by Laurie, a great woman founder. Also a company that is not actually a Techstars company, but Jacqueline Amable with Materials, great company. We just invested in a company called Monsapo as well with Sabrine, doing great with circular economy topics where it's really related to industrial know-how. So underlying that, I guess this is where sustainability can be an edge to bring more women into the revolution, because they feel that with their sensibility, they want to be part of something bigger and be less shy by saying like, but it's not for me because it's a man atmosphere and stuff. So definitely, still more top of the funnel, inspiring maybe students to start something new. But I believe that, we are in a good position, and indeed sustainability can be a true game changer.
Can be an answer to many things, right?
Yeah.
So now, like, about female founders, I would ask both, what opportunities do you see currently for them, and what challenges do you see? Because, like, it goes hand in hand, I would say, both opportunities and some challenges or barriers that they have.
I kind of disagree that women get less chances to fundraise than any other startups. It's true that there are more men investors typically out there, but everyone is talking about diversity and inclusion, basically. And so when you're a woman funding team, I think you kind of get extra credits if you can showcase this particularity of your team. So I think this is great, and many startups actually are using that advantage they have to be more visible on the startup ecosystem. So I don't know if this is a tip or whatsoever, but using that to actually counterbalance the fact that investors are usually men, they're thinking with their manhood can be something else. I don't know if that answers your question.
No, it does. It does. And like the fun fact that when we were looking into guests that we wanted to invite for this podcast, I was looking in through my network in Paris, because we knew that we will be here, so we thought it would be a great place. And the fun fact that I found only great women that are talking about this topic, like circular economy, investment into climate tech, female founders. So definitely I can see that there are more women in this field, in this like sustainability, circularity, and these women are prominent. Grace, you are a great example of that. So like really vivid characters. And my question is why there are no men, or I'm not, or it's just me that I'm not connected to them,
Sorry, I don't have the answer to that.
Not connected to them, that's all right.
No, but that's but to be honest, the kind of targets that I was talking for Techstars is not only for me as a Raphaele woman investor in Paris. Most of my colleagues, some are women, some are men, have the same targets, and they're doing really well. Just because we believe that we want to have the kind of change in the society that we want to see for the next generation. So also maybe it's because, when you create clusters like this to change mentality, you, as a woman, you feel safer in an environment where you will only be surrounded by women. It's not like men are prohibited, but it's more that you're targeting women. And actually, we have a lot of impact funds in Paris. They're doing a great job, and I think diversity is also part of their criteria to see teams. I have a lot of investors actually reaching out saying that they are looking for great companies, obviously, but if they can be a woman-led, again, that's extra point. So this is where founders out there really push this forward. But do it well. I see a lot of companies also applying to Techstars Sustainability in Paris, basically having, I don't know, 3 founders, one of which is supposed to be a woman, and they try to push the woman forward, say like, hey, we have this woman founder, look at it, look at her. And finally you realize that, well, she owns like 0.5% and that she is a marketing assistant, and that it's kind of to give this extra point when you do a selection. To be honest, no investor would be fooled by this kind of approach. When we're talking about investing in women, it's a woman that owns at least 30% of the company, that have a leadership position. It's not only about being the CEO. You can be CMO, COO, sorry. When you are a team with multiple founders. But yeah, the cap table is really important, and this is not just a decoration. This leads to a topic that I think is important, because I heard the story many times. When founders get together to create a company, most of the time women are more shy to negotiate the shares.
Yeah.
And often when they're younger, also than the other founders, they're even more shy.
Yeah.
So I think this goes with the traditional society where, you know, the old man will teach the little young girl how to do their stuff.
Yeah.
To the women out there starting companies with more experienced founders, don't forget that you're starting something from scratch. If you're not there when it starts, you would never know how it's built without you. So make sure that you get enough shares, because when time passes by, you will never recover them. And this then creates a lot of discrepancy between the founders, and can end up being, you feel like you have the woman founder representing a lot of the companies, but having the shares so much lower than it should. And then you have to reequilibrate the cap table with investors to make it well, or you never manage to do it because there is such a gap that it's not feasible. And then you can destroy the company actually in several occasions.
Yeah. I do like the direction of the conversation, because it's more on the positive side, that there are actually more opportunities, or like there are opportunities to just, you know, take them, be there, and then don't underestimate yourself and get the proper share in the company. So maybe we shift a little bit from female founders to circular economy, and you already mentioned that this is sustainability is an answer to many questions and many challenges. So maybe what are the measures that the companies that actually are focused on the profits could take in order to measure also impact and sustainability and actually be sustainable?
Yeah, vast topic. What is tricky is that when you're starting your company as early stage, you absolutely need to demonstrate growth. Because until you don't sell anything, you're thinking, but you're not acting. So everything you do about impact is forecast. The problem is, if you spend time forecasting, you're not spending time building or selling.
Yeah.
So this is where my job, I believe, as an impact investor, even more at the accelerator level, is difficult. Is I want to help my founders be impact VC ready, meaning that I want them to implement the kind of impact and the measure for impact at every scale of the company, whether it's for investors, but most importantly for their clients and their team, to make sure we're not only helping build a startup that will have a good environmental impact, because we mostly focus on B2B and environment, but also, helping people thrive, being in harmony with the kind of social impact we want to have. And this starts really at the level of the people we are working with. And so this is a nice way to say, but indeed, when we're talking about ESG, impact measurement, CO2 capture, and all the traditional arsenal of impacts, we're not focusing on sales as well. So at my level, what we're implementing at Techstars Sustainability in Paris is to raise awareness with founders on the kind of measure you can take within the company with the ESG framework, but also obviously with the environmental impact, whether you can directly have CO2 measurements, saving basically, or even go until the carbon credits and display it within your business plan and to your customers, because it's really important, is the base of what we're doing. But I believe we should not rely too much on compliance and framework, because again, as you're really early, you will build stuff that will disappear.
Yeah.
And all the forecasts you have done maybe change completely within 2 months because you had to change something in the way you operate your business. So I think it's rather a question of mindset than data at first. But we see that we attract a lot of founders with Techstars Sustainability, and they love to talk about impact and CO2. And as soon as we're starting the program, all their KPIs are related to sales, euros.
Yeah.
And this is where also, I think, shifting the mindset, not talking about euros, but talking about tons of CO2 that you can relate also in euros, for instance, makes a lot of difference. Typically, if you should arbitrate, okay, I want to iterate on my business model. I need to gather a lot of data so my models run.
Yep.
Should I rather sell the first services that I have installed, or should I give it away so I go faster and develop my product? And I think this is a great example of, if you arbitrate this with the impact, you will see that you have a greater impact at first, just giving away your service, getting the kind of data to then build on and create a greater economic value, than just focusing on the economics that you can get that will be slower and gather less data and take you longer. Not all the businesses are like this, obviously, but this is where I would like my founders at least to shift and really... it's not only a question of data and measurement, it's a question of mindset again.
Okay, so maybe just to wrap up, I would like to ask you one final question. What would be your general advice for circular economy startups, potential founders, and of course, female founders?
Easy, just do it, as we were saying. Sometimes founders, whether they're men or women, by the way, are in love with their ideas. An idea is nice, but it's not a business. So you need to prove that you have a business, that you're selling stuff. To sell anything, you don't even need a factory. You don't need a product. Sometimes you just need to involve people with you. And I think that's really difficult. This is where creating a startup is not creating a business. There are many great businesses to create, by the way, and it's not better to create a startup. Just the definition of a startup is something that has never been done before. So you will face difficulties. You might not be able to start, but you're starting from zero. So you're always at zero. So this is where offload the pain and the work. You can shift and pivot really easily. So this is where be solving a real problem and iterate on that to make sure that you have interest, that you create that kind of traction that can actually pay off your salaries and the one of your employees, because this starts here, the kind of impact that you can have, building a solid team, and then you will only amplify it, and the amplification comes from the kind of scale that technology can bring you, and this is where building startup is such a great thing.
Thank you very much, Raphaele, for such a great conversation and your great input. So thank you.
Thank you, Julia. See you soon.